Epic Universe just opened its doors to the public, and it's easily the boldest theme park launch we've seen in decades. New tech, bold ideas, entire lands built on IP that fans are already raving about. Meanwhile, some of Disney's classic rides are starting to show their age. So today I want to walk you through 5 rides that Disney really needs to fix. Because now that Epic Universe is open, people are going to notice the difference. So if you're new here, I'm Mickey, and I'm a creative director and a filmmaker, and for the last decade, I've helped brands tell stories and build immersive experiences that grab people and hold their attention. And that same lens is how I look at theme parks. I'm not here just to rank rides. I want to show you what works, what doesn't, and how Disney can fix these before Universal's new theme park raises the bar. So let's get into it. So let's start with a ride that feels more like a holding tank and less like an actual attraction. Yes, you've guessed it, that's the Seas with Nemo and Friends. The Living Seas Pavilion used to be one of EPCOT's most awe-inspiring spaces. The way it worked was you would descend into the ocean via these hydrolators, and you would get to explore this futuristic marine research base. But now you just walk into a building and ride a clunky clamshell past a bunch of outdated projections of fish. You know, it's not just underwhelming, it really feels like wasted potential. And let's be honest, the projections, they clearly need new lamps. The whole ride feels dark and dingy now, especially during the EAC bubble scene. You can barely see the fish and turtles anymore, and that just pulls you right out of the experience. What this pavilion really needs is a transformation. Not a full reboot, but a smarter, fresher take. It should give us a new reason to ride. Fix the lighting, upgrade the visuals, and refresh the story so it's not just about finding Nemo again. It's about exploring the hidden wonders of the ocean, like coral reefs, kelp forests, and deep sea creatures with the characters we love. As always, I'm using generative AI to create some placeholder visuals here, because getting the idea across is what really matters. But the ride idea, that's all me. What if the Seas with Nemo and Friends wasn't just a cute retelling, but a story about exploring the hidden wonders of the ocean? Imagine this. Nemo's curiosity pulls him deeper into the unknown, and Marlin and Dory are following his trail. And not out of panic this time, but out of awe. And the deeper they go, the more incredible and fragile the ocean becomes. That's where the real story lives. If Disney leaned into this, if they treated the ocean like a living character with secrets worth protecting, then suddenly the ride has stakes. It's not just where's Nemo, it's how do we protect what he's discovering before it disappears. And that shift would turn this into something much more than a character overlay. It'd be a powerful but subtle conservation story told through a child's sense of wonder. That kind of revamp and deeper storytelling could really make this ride feel magical again, and a little more meaningful too. Next is Mission Space, and this one hurts because I think space travel should be one of the most exciting visuals that you can simulate. But Mission Space has become one of Epcot's most polarizing rides. The orange version is so intense that most people just skip it, and the green version, well, it's kind of boring to be honest. I mean, you have what was the original, but now there's just no G-forces. So it's just you stuck in a simulator staring at a tiny screen, and there's no feeling of G-forces at all. I mean, it's just like watching a movie of launching to Mars. And so the ride's narrative is practically non-existent other than, hey, we're launching to Mars, and then we did it. So basically you're just in a high-tech simulator, and there's no sense of scale, no emotion, just buttons and spinning. Lots of spinning. Too much spinning. Way too much spinning. There are countless memes on TikTok and other places of people just outright skipping this ride or feeling like they completely ruin their day by riding it.
I don't feel good, I don't feel good.
Yeah, that's kind of spinning. It's spinning, guys.
I don't feel good.
Yeah.
I want to get off. I want to get off.
I mean, golly, I need like...
You can put your foot there.
What?
I think this ride needs a new philosophy. Not more intensity, more imagination. Let me be clear, I applaud what EPCOT and NASA did coming together to make this simulator, but it's just a bit too intense. So what if instead of simulating a rocket launch, Mission Space invited you to imagine a world where space travel was accessible, beautiful, and human? And that's the approach I took with a new concept I've been developing called Starlight Odyssey. It's based on the idea that space shouldn't make us feel sick. It should make us feel small in the best way, awe-inspired, connected, even hopeful. Instead of strapping us into a NASA test flight that makes half the guests queasy, Starlight Odyssey imagines something radically more inspiring. A civilian preview cruise through our solar system. You start by ascending a massive space elevator, then glide through an orbital spaceport where families are boarding like it's an airport terminal. From there, your guide, Mira, takes you on a breathtaking journey to the moon, to Mars, and even under the icy seas of Europa. Not as a soldier or a pilot, but as a regular person experiencing what space travel could actually feel like in our lifetime. The stakes aren't about surviving launch, they're emotional. It's about imagining what kind of future we're building up there, and by the time you've returned to Earth, your perspective has changed. And if that feels like the kind of space story you wish Epcot was telling, stay tuned because I have a full video walkthrough of Starlight Odyssey coming to my channel. Number 3 on the list is Journey into Imagination. This one's personal. Figment is a fan favorite and an icon really, but he deserves so much more than the ride he's stuck in right now. The current version of Journey into Imagination feels fragmented, awkward, and more like a patch job of a concept that was once legendary. The original ride had charm, soul, and a sense of creative exploration. This version just doesn't. Now the building is beautiful and of course Figment is loved, but the experience inside, it's begging for a reimagining. And actually, I've already redesigned this one. If you want to see what Figment's ride could be, check out my full video on it after this. Fair warning, it's a fairly blue sky concept and I get a little weird with it, but hey, you gotta start with big ideas, right? Next is Tomorrowland Speedway. We've got Tron Light Cycle Run, which is sleek, modern, ultra high tech, and right next to it, we have a 1970s smelly go-kart track. Tomorrowland Speedway is a time capsule, but not in a charming way. The cars run on gas, and the track layout is basic. There's no real story, meh theming. All we're really left with is just fumes and noise. If this ride's gonna stick around, it needs a total rethink. It should go electric, add stylized visuals, and while we're at it, I think there's a great opportunity here to re-theme it to The Incredibles. They could even just adjust the track to have some light elevation changes, some dips, some rises, just enough to make the layout feel dynamic while still keeping that core spirit. Kids getting to drive their own car through Tomorrowland. With the new Cars Rally Racers attraction set to bring high energy and off-road excitement to Magic Kingdom, the Tomorrowland Speedway risks feeling redundant unless it carves out its own unique identity. Rally Racers will immerse guests in a rugged, character-driven adventure through canyon trails and unpredictable terrain. But Speedway has a chance to go in the opposite direction. With new theming tied to The Incredibles, this ride could evolve into a sleek, tech-forward racing experience where kids get to step into the driver's seat and test the latest high-performance vehicles developed for the Parr family. Imagine neon-lit tracks, magnetic boosters, and design flourishes straight out of Edna Mode's garage. The vibe isn't dusty and chaotic, it's smooth, bold, and futuristic. And by leading into that identity, the Speedway can stand apart from Rally Racers and finally feel like it belongs in Tomorrowland again, not just in name, but in spirit. And number 1 on my list, unfortunately or fortunately, is Test Track. Alright, so let's talk about the one that Disney really needs to get right. To be fair, Disney has already announced and began the 3.0 version of this ride, but here's my concern. Test Track 2.0 already stripped away most of the charm and purpose of the original. Sure, it looked cool, but it felt just kind of cold and sterile. And now, all they've teased are blacked out concept cars, as if that's supposed to tell us anything about the new idea. So I just wanted to say real quick while editing this, I'm about to put this video out and Disney just released a more in-depth video of what's to come for Test Track 3.0. And while some of it looks kind of interesting, and oddly enough, some of it aligns with some of my idea that you're gonna see here in this video, I do think it's still kind of another letdown. And I think if the whole story of this new ride is just about what driving is like with autonomous cars, I think it kind of misses the mark. I think this is unfortunately going to be another loss for Test Track and for Epcot overall. But let's not be too negative because we're here to celebrate the ideas that I wish existed. Test Track should be Epcot's future-forward automotive showcase. But what does it actually teach you? What do you remember after riding it? I think this is Disney's opportunity to bring back the optimism and human touch Epcot was built on. The original version was brilliant because it put you in the role of a crash test dummy. something no human would ever get to experience. To me, it was thrilling because it felt dangerous and rare. So what's the new version's big idea? What if Test Track didn't just simulate speed or tech? Test Track 3.0 isn't just about showing off the future of cars, it's about showing how we got here. This new version turns the ride into a full-speed journey through automotive history. You'll rattle down cobbled roads like the early Model T era, then surge into the muscle car age, where massive V8 engines roar to life all around you, and you feel the raw torque kick in as the vehicle bolts forward. You even get up close with the motors themselves, seeing how horsepower, engine blocks, and innovation all exploded during that era. And just like the original, you'll still feel the thrill of real-world testing. Things like sudden traction shifts, obstacle dodges, or a simulated braking assist moment that makes you feel appreciative of how far control systems have come. There's even a quick detour through a wind tunnel, where smoke trails wrap around the vehicle to reveal how air moves over the different shapes at speed. For me, it's unexpected, scientific, and honestly, kind of mesmerizing. But the big payoff? That iconic finale still delivers. The doors blast open and you launch outside hitting 65 miles an hour around the building. What makes it better this time is that it means something. Because by the time you hit that 65 mile an hour finale, you've already seen how far we've come, and now you're racing into the future with all that history behind you. It's not just a thrill, it's a full circle moment, a way for kids and all of us to really feel what innovation means when it's in motion. That's the kind of story that Disney could be telling here. One where the car isn't a machine you command, but it's a quiet, intelligent partner that's reshaping how we move through the world. I see it as clean, safe, and kind of magical. Alright, those are my 5 picks. 5 rides that Disney needs to really rethink, upgrade, or replace entirely if they want to compete with what Epic Universe has just brought to the table. Because Universal isn't just adding rides to their existing parks, they've built new, fully immersive worlds. And when guests walk out of Epic Universe and back onto a smelly go-kart track or a half-empty pavilion, they're going to feel that contrast. But what do you think? Did I miss a ride that you'd like to include? Drop it in the comments, I'd love to hear your ideas. And if you're into ride redesigns and big picture park thinking, I've got more coming to the channel, so be sure to subscribe so you can see what's next. Plus, if you want early access to videos, behind the scenes content, and access to the Project Tomorrow Discord, or if you just want to help me out and support my work, hop over to my Patreon, it would mean the world to me. But don't forget to tap like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.